everyone, welcome to our channel Knowledge of Friends. सब्सक्राइब टू our channel and click the bell icon for the latest update. आज हम लोग मैनेजरल इकोनॉमिक्स की क्लास करने वाले हैं जो कि क्लास नंबर 4 है। ऑलरेडी अगर हम बात करते हैं क्लास 3 तक तो हमने यूनिट 1 कंप्लीट कर लिया है एंड यूनिट 2 भी लास्ट क्लास में हमने कंप्लीट कर लिया है। नाउ विल गोइंग अहेड विद द स्टार्टिंग ऑफ यूनिट 3 which is the name of the unit is your cost analysis. In the cost analysis, hopefully if it is not exceeded, we will complete within 2 classes here. And that and the cost analysis, before starting with this, first of all, it's a huge request from my side to all the viewers, please go through with the subscribe button and please like, share and subscribe our channel so that many maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. Before starting with the cost analysis, now we'll go ahead start a deep here, that is about the cost analysis and the types of costs that we'll discuss here. So the first question that has been arises to explain the cost analysis and its significance. So explain the cost analysis and its significance. So cost analysis and its significance, if I'm talking about here in this, that the cost analysis is an important function in managerial decision. Cost analysis enables the management to evaluate the projects in terms for the cost and revenue. Cost refers to the expenditure incurred to produce a particular product or services. Cost analysis is primarily meant for the management to enable them to discharge management function properly, and cost analysis is a technique of ascertaining the cost of manufacturing an article, a product, and that cost analysis is usually done arithmetically here. Cost analysis is the study of the expenses incurred in manufacturing a product and conducting a business such that expenses are analyzed and classified to determine the actual cost of a product with minimum error. In reference towards the cost analysis, that the cost analysis is to be performed by cost accounting method and procedures. Cost analysis is the process through which the cost of the product are decided and controlled, and cost analysis also ensures effective inventory control and budgetary control as well. Now the other question has been asked in the terms of the cost analysis here, which is to give the classification of cost and explain briefly. So the classification of cost, that we'll talk about it. Classification of cost. So the classification of cost, we'll talk about it, which is that cost can be classified into the following here, that we'll discuss about it, and that is your 10 that has been classified here. So that what we'll discuss about it in a detail, and here in the same cases, here in the same case, that the first we have is your opportunity cost. In the term of opportunity cost, the second we have is your, that is differential cost. Third is your standard cost. The fourth is your sunk cost. The fifth we have is your imputed and implicit cost. The sixth is your explicit and out-of-pocket cost. The seventh we have is your long run cost. And the eighth we have is your short run cost. The ninth we have is your fixed cost, and the 10th we have is your variable cost. So now we'll discuss here in the detail each and everything. In this each and everything, each of the 10 that we have the classification of cost, we'll discuss here in the detail. First we'll talk about the opportunity cost here, that the opportunity cost refers to the expected benefit foregone in sacrificing one alternative for another. An opportunity cost exists when resources are scarce and there are alternative use for them, and the rejected alternative becomes the opportunity cost for the new alternative accepted as well. And when there are no alternative, there are no opportunity cost, and the opportunity cost is determined by comparing the benefits or advantages of available alternatives. Since opportunity costs represent only sacrifice benefits and they are never recorded in the books of account as well. The opportunity costs include the consequences of decision in the form of money, value of goods, service foregone, and the opportunity costs that are significant in long run decisions as well. The second we have is the differential cost. In differential cost, the differential cost refers to the increase or decrease in the total cost that results from change in quantity or level of production. It is also called the incremented cost here, and that the differential cost changes with the natures of activity and alternative, and the differential cost includes increased production cost of the other business and foregone profit due to the less productivity as well. The third we have is your standard cost here. In the standard cost, that is a predetermined cost and which is calculated from the management standards of efficient operation and relevant necessary expenditure as well. The next we have is your sunk cost, which is your fourth one, which is the sunk cost is a historical cost that have already been committed or spent in the past, and sunk cost does not affect the current productive also a production, and also it is not useful to the decision making and decision making as well. In the sunk cost is the cost incurred in the past. For example, a machine purchased for 10,000 and it's that is depreciated, that the lower value mentioned in the balance sheet is your 6,000 and is sold for that is your 4,000, then the sunk cost will be the 2,000 here, and there are these are cash cost here. Now we'll talk about the another one, which is the imputed or imputed cost and an implicit cost here. In an imputed and implicit cost, that imputed costs are not actually incurred, that is they are not actually spent, hence they are not recorded in the books of account, and these are hypothetical costs usually in non-cash form. And even though the imputed costs are not recorded in books, and these are important in making decisions. Example of imputed or implicit cost are, that is your interest on own capital, savings in the terms of salary due to own supervision, and rent of own premises as well. The other we have is the explicit and out of the pocket cost. Explicit costs are the payment that made in the cash against some services or facilities provided. An example of explicit costs include rent of workplace, wages, interest on borrowing, taxes and duties to the government, and that is the explicit costs are recorded in the books of account and are very important. In the explicit cost of the pocket and the cost that we will talk about, like examples of the explicit cost include the rent of the workplace, wages and interest on borrowing, taxes and duties to the government as well, that what we had discussed about it here. Now we'll talk about the another one, just for the imputed as implicit cost, we talk about it. which is that an imputed cost are not actually incurred in, that is, they are not actually spent, and hence they are not recorded in the books of account, and they are the hypothetical cost, usually in the non-cash form. And even though that imputed costs are not recorded in books, and these are the important in the making the decisions, that the examples we have, the examples of imputed or implicit cost, that is your interest on own capital, and that's saving in the terms of the salary due to the own supervision, rent of own premises as well. In the term of the explicit, and that is your out of the pocket cost here, where explicit costs are the payment that made in the cash against the some services or the facilities provided. Examples of the explicit costs include the rent of the workplace, wages, interest on borrowing, taxes and duties to the government, and that explicit costs are recorded in books of account and are very important in decision making as well. Now we'll go ahead with other one, and that what we have to discuss here. This is the another one, which is your the long run cost as well. So in the long run cost here, that what talk about it, which is long run cost includes the cost of the changes in the size and the kind of production in which a company that may alter all factors and production with a high degree of flexibility. And these is a perfect flexibility in a plant size, manpower and a machinery, that the long run costs are associated with planning of the firm, and in long term all the costs are recovered by the firm. And examples of long run costs are the cost of plants and machinery, and the cost of land, cost of training to the workers as well. The other we have is the short run here. Short run cost, that is the short run cost includes the cost associated with the fixed plants and other facilities for a short period, and there is no flexibility in a plant size, manpower and in machinery as well. In the same cases, that the short run costs are associated with operation of the firm, and the time period for the short run is much less than that of the long run time, and that the duration of the short run varies from one industry to another as well. We'll talk about the another one, which is your the fixed cost here. In the same case, that will talk about the fixed cost, and the fixed cost that refers to the costs that are fixed in the short run, and the costs that are to be incurred if even the production is stopped, and these costs are fixed in the short run, and they are inversely proportional to the various volume of production as well. In the same case, talk about it, and that what we have here is that in the same case, that the fixed costs are the constant per unit of time, and however the fixed costs remain unchanged only if the installed capacity is not raised. Examples of the fixed costs are like rent of office, factory, machinery, telephone bills, water bills, power bills, etc. Now we talk about the another one, which is your variable cost here. In the variable cost, that refers to the cost which vary with the volume or production. The variable cost exists only when there is production. Variable cost includes the cost of the raw material, wages, cost of the consumable during production as well. Now we'll discuss about the other question, that write a short note on opportunity cost, and that has been asked for 5 marks. That is, we have is your opportunity cost. In the opportunity cost, this has been asked for 5 marks here. Opportunity cost refers to the expected benefit foregone in the sacrificing one alternative for another. Opportunity cost exists when the resources are scarce and there are alternative that uses for them, and the rejected alternative becomes the opportunity cost for the new alternative accepted. And the opportunity cost includes the consequences of decision in the form of money, value of goods and service, that foregone as well. We'll talk about another one, that is the another question is plot the diagram showing the total cost, fixed cost and variable costs, and I also explain that. So that will go ahead here. In the same case, that first I will draw the graph here, and then we'll discuss in a detail. This is total cost, variable cost, fixed cost. This is sales volume. This is cost. So the fixed cost includes a fixed part of a mixed cost here, and that is the another one we have is your variable cost, that includes a variable part of the mixed cost. So we'll talk about one by one, and that we have is a fixed cost. In the fixed cost, that the fixed cost refer to the costs that are fixed in short run, and the costs that are to be incurred even the production is stopped, and these costs are fixed in the short run, and also they are inversely proportional to the volume of production. And fixed costs are the constant per unit of time, and however the fixed costs remain unchanged only if the installed capacity is not raised. Example of the fixed costs are the rent of office, factory, machinery, telephone bills, water bills, power bills, etc. The other we have is your variable cost. In the variable cost here, that we'll talk about it, which is your variable cost refers to the cost which vary with the volume of production, and the variable cost exists only when there is production. Variable cost includes the cost of the raw material, wages, cost of the consumable during production as well. The other will discuss about the total cost. In the term of the total cost here, that the total cost is the sum of all fixed cost and variable cost as well. We'll talk about the another question, that is write a short note on cost, that has been asked of 5 marks. In the term of the cost here, that in accounting the term cost refers to the monetary value of expenditures for raw material, equipment, supplies and services, labors, products, etc. It is an amount that is recorded as an expense in bookkeeping record here. In the same case, that the cost denotes the amount of the money that a company spends on the creations or production of goods or services. It does not include the markup for profit as well. The cost is usually monetary value we have, that is your the efforts, second is your material, third is resources, the fourth is your time and utility consumed, the fifth we have is a risk incurred, and the sixth we have opportunity forgone, opportunity foregone in production and delivery of goods or services. And all expenses are cost, but not all costs, such as those incurred in the acquisitions of the income generating assets, that are expenses. So all expenses are cost, but not all the costs are the expenses here. Now I'll talk about another one, which is to discuss the various elements of cost here. That is various elements of cost. In the term of the various elements of cost here, that the total cost of the product that can be divided as per the nature of the expenses, and the product cost consists of 3 main elements. That is, the first we have here is your material cost, second is your labor cost, and third is your expenses cost. And then we have here first we have material cost. In material cost, that material cost is the cost of the material supplied for manufacturing the product, and the material cost that can be divided into the two types as well. So the first type we have is your direct material cost. In this, that the direct material cost is the cost of the material that forms a part of product, and it is also the cost of the material which, when processed through the various stages, forms the main product here. The direct material that can include like purchase bill and purchase prices, freight charges, insurance, loading, octroi, and other taxes as well. The second we have is the indirect material. Indirect material cost. In indirect material cost, it is the cost of the material which are required to convert the direct material into the finished product. The indirect material not integral part of the product, and that is they can not be separated out, and the indirect material that are not directly used in the product itself. The cost associated with the indirect material is called the indirect material cost, and it includes the cost of the cotton waste, sandpaper, lubricants, grease, stationery, tools, etc. Now we'll talk about the next one, that is your second one, which is your labor cost. In the labor cost here, that we'll talk about it, which is your the labor cost is the compensation paid to employees as remunerations, and it can be salaries, wages, bonus, commissions, and the labor cost that can be divided into two types. The first we have is the direct labor cost. In this, that the direct labor cost is the payment or the wages that pay to the labor engaged in the production directly, and the workers who work or who work and process the material manually or with the aid of machine, that are called the direct labor. In the direct labor, that cost may be included in the unit cost on the basis of the time spent by the workers on the job, or an on quantity basis. And the direct labor cost includes like cost of the labor engaged in production, as well as the internal transport cost and other operation cost as well. The second we have is your indirect labor cost. In the indirect labor cost here, that indirect labor cost is the cost which cannot be allocated but can be appointed to the unit cost. The indirect labor are workers which are not involved directly in the job manufacturing. These workers helps productive, which is directly labor in performing their duties. The indirect labor cost includes the supervision or inspection cost, crane operators, maintenance team cost, and helpers, etc. We talk about the third one, which we have is your expenses here, and that is the third and the last term that we'll talk about in terms of the various elements of the cost. So that is the third we have is your expenses. In the term of expenses here, that we have, and expenses are the charges that is associated with the product apart from the material cost and the labor cost, and actually the expenses are the expenditures expect that direct material and the direct labor cost. Expenses are of two types. So there is the first we have is the direct expenses. Indirect expenses here, that is that the direct expenses are those which are charged directly for a particular job only. Like these expenses include cost of the spatial jigs and fixtures, cost of the experimental work for a particular product, constantly charges for a specific product like drawing, design, traveling expenses, advertising expenses, maintenance charge for the machinery as well. The second we have is your, that is your indirect expenses. In the indirect expenses here, that these are the expenses which cannot be charged directly to a particular product, and all expenses other than direct material costs like direct labor cost and direct expenses, that are indirect expenses, and these are also called as overheads as well. The indirect expenses include like rent of the factory building, insurance premium, telephone expenses, administrative expenses, advertising expenses, publicity expenses, distribution, selling expenses, and packaging that cost as well. The other question has been arised here, that is to explain in brief elements of cost that we had discussed about it, and that is these were the elements that we are talking about, that is your material cost here, and the second is your the labor cost, and the third we have is the expenses. These comes under it, and that has also been asked of 2 marks, so you just can name it out. Let's go ahead with other question that has been arise is to define and explain overheads. In the terms of overheads, that Weldon defined overheads as like cost of the indirect material, indirect labor, and the other indirect expenses that includes the services as cannot conveniently be charged direct to a specific cost unit, and it means the overheads as the sum of the indirect material cost, indirect labor cost, and indirect expenses as well. All the overheads that can be classified into the two forms. The first form we have is your fixed overheads. In the terms of fixed overheads, the fixed overheads are the expenses that tends to remain relatively constant whatever may be the volume of the production. Fixed overheads include like interest on capital invested, rent of building or machinery, insurance of building and goods, consultancy fee, warehouse charges, and of course the vehicle charges, etc. The second we have is your variable overheads. In the variable overheads, there are those indirect expenses which tends to vary with the volume of production. Variable overheads include like that consumable, which is your power and fuel, etc. Expenses on tools, repair and maintenance of machinery, administration's overheads, selling overheads, advertising that expenses, distribution expenses, etc. We'll talk about another one, which is write a short note on opportunity and marginal cost. So opportunity cost we'll talk about, and the marginal cost as well. So let's go ahead, and that has been asked of 10 marks. So here we have which is opportunity cost. In the term of opportunity cost here, that is opportunity cost refer to the expected benefit foregone in the sacrificing one alternative for another, and the opportunity cost exists when resources are scarce and there are alternate uses for them, and the rejected alternative become the opportunity cost for the new alternative that has been accepted as well. The opportunity cost includes the consequences of decision in the form of the money, value of goods and services foregone as well. We'll talk about the formula for the opportunity cost here, that we have opportunity cost equals to return of most lucrative option minus return of chosen option. That apply to a business decision, that the opportunity cost might refer to the profit a company that would have earned from its capital, equipment and real estate, that if these assets had been used in a different way. The concept of opportunity cost may be applied to many different situations, and it should be considered whenever the circumstances are such that the scarcity necessitates the elections of one option over another. Opportunity cost is usually defined in the terms of money, but it may also be considered in terms of time, person hours, mechanical output, or any other finite resource as well. Now we'll talk about the marginal cost. In the term of the marginal cost here, that is, the marginal cost is the additional cost that incurred for the production of an additional unit of output, and that the formula is calculated by the dividing the change in that total cost by the change in the product output, and that the marginal cost indicates the rate at which the total cost of the product changes as the production increases by 1 unit, and however, because of fixed costs do not changes based on the number of products produced, and the marginal cost is influenced only by the variations in the variable cost as well. So that marginal cost is particularly important in the business decision making process. The management has to make decision on where to best allocate resources in the production process. For instance, when the management needs to decide whether to increase productions or not, and they have to compare the marginal cost with the marginal revenue, and that will be realized by an additional unit of output as well. That is your cost and revenue versus your output that has been mentioned here. Now, in the same cases, that the marginal cost is significant in economic theory, because that a profit maximizing from firm will produce up to the point where the marginal cost equals marginal revenue here. So we can say that the marginal cost is equals to marginal revenue. And also, a firm that supply curve is effectively the part of the marginal cost curve, that above average variable cost from the point P that upward on the diagram that we'll draw here, and that is, a firm will not supply below this point, as that will not be covering its opportunity cost. And point B is also known as shutdown point, where point A that represents the breakdown point as well. Now we'll discuss about the another question, that is the explain the cost estimation, and that we have. In cost estimation here, that has been asked of 2 marks in 1718, that the cost estimation, where a cost estimate is an approximate predictions of how much money is needed to complete a project. And the cost estimation is the art of assigning value. It is also a science making use of a wide range of technique to predict the cost of the activities and assets. The cost estimation is a part of the cost engineering professions, and it is used to predict the quantity, cost, and prices, that the resources required by a scope of the project. And a project might be any process that is started to perform bulk activities and or to create assets as well. The accuracy of the estimate depends heavily on the level of the project scope definition, like as the design and the conditions of the project become better defined, and so do the estimated values. And the accurate cost estimating helps you manage your project budget better, and the project manager must include cost estimate for all the resources, that including the material, equipment and services, software facilities, human resources, etc. In the same cases, the other costs that can be divided in direct and indirect costs. The direct costs are those that you allocate directly, such as salaries for project team members, material supply, equipment, travel costs and contracts, etc. Conversely, indirect costs that cannot be allocated directly, but without them you won't be able to perform the project, like indirect costs that can include the office space rent or a general and administrative cost as well. We'll talk about the other one, that is the cost output relationship or the cost function. The question has been arise, write a short note on that is on the cost output relationship that we'll discuss here. Cost output relations. So in this, that the cost output relationship that plays an important role in determining the optimum level of production, and that the knowledge of the cost output relation that helps the managers in the cost control, profit protection, pricing and promotion, etc. And the relation between the cost and the output is technically described as the cost function, which has been named as this equals to f of q, where this TC is your total cost, this Q is your quantity produced, and this F is your function that has been named here. Now we'll go ahead with this, and that the production function that combined with the prices of input determine the cost functions of the firm, and considering the period that the cost of the function that can be classified into the two, which is your short run cost function and the long run that we have, and that is your the short run cost function, and the second we have is your long run cost function. So in this, and in an economic theory, that the short run is defined as the period during which the physical capacity of the firm is fixed, and the during which output that can be increased only by using existing capacity more intensively. In a long run cost function, that is a period during which it is possible to increase the firm capacity or to reduce it in size, and if the trade is very bad here. So now we'll talk about with another one, that is to explain the concept of cost output relationship in short run here. So the short run cost output relation, that what we have to discuss here. Short run cost output relation. In this, that the cost concept that made use of in the cost behavior, and our total cost, average cost and marginal cost. The total cost is the actual money spent to produce a particular quantity of output, and it is summations of fixed and variable cost that has been represented in the form TC equals to TFC and plus a TVCA, and that up to a certain level of production, the total fixed cost, and that is the cost of plant, built equipment, etc., that remain fixed, and but the total variable cost, that is the cost of the labor, raw material, etc., vary with the variations in output here, and that is termed as a C equals to TC upon Q, and that or it is the total average fixed out and the average variable cost, where TVC by Q here that has been representing here. That the marginal cost is the additions to the total cost that due to the productions of an additional unit of product, and or it is the cost of the marginal unit produced, that it can be arrived at by dividing the changes in the total cost by the change in the total output as well, where we can say that that has been represented by MC equals to TC by Q. In the short run, there will be not be any change in a total fixed cost, and hence change in the total cost implies the change in the total variable cost only. The short run cost output relationship that can be shown graphically, and that shows the relationship between the output and the fixed cost, that the total variable cost and the total cost as well, that will be shown in the form of a graph here. Output, this is on x-axis, y-axis, this is your total cost, and that it will goes from here to here, that is your TC. This is 60 degree, this is 0 degree, and that is your TVC here, and this is your TFC. So its average cost AC that declines the cost and then rises, and the rise in the AC is felt only after the ABC starts rising. So we have TC equals to TFC plus TVC here, that as TFC remains constant, increases in TC means increases in TVC only, and as TFC remains constant, the gap between TVC and TC that will always be the same, and hence the TC curve has the same pattern of the behavior as TVC curve as well. So that has been represented here in the reference towards the unit cost, and that will give the output as well. In the same cases, that the law of the production more clearly, and AFC that curve continues to fall as output rises from the lower level to the higher level as well. And this is because that the total fixed cost is spread over more and more units as the unit increases, and as output increases, and the TVC that increases with the increase in the production. And in the same case, that since more raw materials, labors, power, etc., that would be required for increasing the output, but ABC curve, that is your variable cost per unit, first fall and then rises. This is due to the operations of the law of variable proportions, and the behavior of AC curve that depends upon the behavior of ABC curve and AFC curve. In the initial stage of the production, both AFC and ABC are declining. Hence, AC also declines, then AFC continues to fall with the increase in the output, while ABC first decline and then rises. So long as AFC and ABC decline, and AC will also decline, but after a certain point that ABC starts rising. If the rise in ABC is less than that the decline in AFC and AC, that will still continue into a decline here. And when the rises in ABC is more than the drop in AFC, and that AC begins to rise. When the production is increased, ABC increases, but AC still decline. So here the increase in the ABC is less than that of the decline in AFC. The net effect being a decline in AC, that AC curve, and thus declines the first and then rises as well. At the first, AC is high due to the large fixed cost, and as output increases, the total fixed cost is shared by more and more units, and hence AC falls. And after a certain point, that owing to operation of the law of diminishing marginal returns and the variable cost, and therefore the AC starts increasing. The lower end of the AC curve thus turns up and gives it a U shape, and that is why AC curves has been in the shape of U here. With the same references, that the least cost combination of the inputs is indicated by the lowest point in the AC curve, and that is where the total average cost is the minimum, and it is the short run stage of the optimum output, and it may not be the maximum output level, and it is a point where the per unit cost of production will be at lowest point, and a downward trend in MC curve that shows increasing marginal productivity, that is decreasing the marginal cost of the variable input. Similarly, that an upward trend in the marginal cost, that curve that shows the rate of the increase in the TVC on the one hand, and the decreasing marginal productivity, that is increasing marginal cost of the variable input on the other here. And that the marginal cost curve intersects both AVC and AC curve at their lowest point. The relationship between that ABC, ATC, and AFC that can be summed up as follows: like if both AFC and ABC fall, AC will also fall, because AC is equals to like AFC and plus ABC. And when AFC falls and ABC rises, so AC will fall. The drops in the AFC is more than the rise in the ABC, and AC remains constant if this drop is AFC is equals to rise in the ABC, and AC will rise where the drop in AFC is less than the rise of the ABC as well. Now we'll talk about another one, which is to explain the relationship between a marginal cost, average cost, and a total cost in short run here. So that has been asked of 10 marks, and which is also an important one here, that is marginal cost, average cost, and total cost in short run. So here that both marginal cost and average cost are derived from the total cost, and they bear a unique relationship, that the relationship between marginal cost and of course the average cost, that can be stated as under like when average cost falls with increase in output, that the marginal cost is lower than the average cost, and that is marginal cost curve lies below the average curve that cost curve, and however it is not necessary that the marginal cost should fall throughout this stage, and actually the marginal cost rises earlier than average cost here, where when average cost rises with increase in output and marginal cost is higher than average cost, and that marginal cost curve lies above the average cost curve here, and at the level of the optimum output the average cost is minimum and constant, and here the marginal cost stands equals to the average cost, and marginal cost pulls average cost horizontally as well. At a zero level of output, both average cost and marginal cost are determinant as well. And in the same cases, in a brief, it can be said that the marginal cost intersects average cost at a minimum point, that both are U-shaped curve on account of the operations of the law of variable proportion. The above relationship between the marginal cost and the average cost that can be illustrated. So here and along that curve that is falling, and that MC is less than, of course, there is AC, and we are in that same the pattern that has been followed here, which is your graphist would be like this in the form of, this is output, this is input, and this we have. So this is like MC, B and C, and this is your A, and this is ABC, and then AC here, that the MC is less than AC, and that is MC pulls AC downward. However, the MC falls more rapidly and reaches its minimum point A earlier than AC that reaches its own minimum point B, and therefore the MC start rising from the point A and to the point B, and AC is still falling up to the point B here as well. Where in the same cases that further beyond the point B here, that we have a graph here as well. So this is your graph that has been representing, this is your AC, this is your MC, this is AC equals to MC, and that is we have here, that is your AC, and this is your MC here. So further beyond the point B, both MC and AC rises, but the former that rises more sharply, and when MC rises above AC, it pulls the latter upward, and similar the relationship holds between MC and ABC too, and MC interacts both ABC and AC from below at their respective minimum points, that in that order. And here the ray from the origin, that is also the tangent to the corresponding point of the total variable cost curve, and the relationship between the AC, that is your average cost, and marginal cost, that can also be shown with the help of a simple diagram that we had shown here. And here in the same cases with a reference towards it, that MC we'll talk about it here, which is your MC equals to DTC upon the dq, which is equals to dAC dot q upon AC d of q, and which is equals to your AC plus q dot dAC on dq, which is using the product rule of differentiate, and that we have dAC dq, which is equals to 1 upon q MC minus AC square q power 6 here, that d of q, d upon d of q, that AC is the slope of AC curve. So it shows that so long in the marginal cost curve that lies below the average cost curve, and the average cost falls pulled downwards by the marginal cost here as well. On the other hand, when the marginal cost lies above the average cost curve, and the average cost rises pulled upwards by the marginal cost, and when the marginal cost is equals to the average cost and it is the minimum point of the latter, it is important to note that as long as the marginal cost is less than that of average cost, each additional unit of output that will add less to the total cost in the comparison to the average per unit cost incurred on the previous unit, and this lowers the overall average cost of production, and hence the average cost will continue to decline as long as marginal cost is less than that the average cost, and whether the marginal cost is itself rising or falling. Further, when the marginal cost exceeds the average cost, each extra unit of output that produces adds more to the total cost and then the average cost incurred on the previous unit, that resulting in the rise in the overall average cost of the production as well. Even though this leads to the rise in the average cost curve when the marginal cost is more than that the average cost, and finally if the additional unit of the output produced cost that same as the average cost incurred here. In the same cases that the previous units for the overall average cost that does not change and that attains the minimum value, and thus when the average cost reaches its minimum level, it is equals to the marginal cost, or the relationship between the average cost and the marginal cost that can be explained by observing the mathematical relationship between them. And we know that here that AC equals to TC by Q, and TC is equals to AC Q here. So here further the marginal cost is the first derivative of the total cost with respect to output, and therefore assuming that AC is greater than 0 and Q is greater than 0, that the relationship between AC, that is the average cost, and marginal cost, that can be written here. So when the slope AC curves is negative, that is the curve AC curve is falling, so the marginal cost will be the less than of the average cost and thus lies below a average cost. And when the slope of the average cost is positive, that is your average cost is rising, so the marginal cost will be greater than average cost and lies above it. And when the slope of the average cost that is equals to the 0, then of course the average cost is minimum and marginal cost is equals to the average cost as well. So similar that relationship that holds between ABC and MC, that here DD by Q and ABC 1 by Q MC and ABC, that would imply and that assuming ABC where Q is greater than 0. So in that same case where MC is less than ABC, that D of ABC by DQ that is less than 0, and that is ABC is falling, and if MC that we have a three conditions here, which is MC is less than ABC, then DABC by in the same cases that we have DABC by DQ, and that is less than 0, and that is ABC is falling. The second we have is your, that is MC is greater than ABC, and that tends to AVC, and that is greater than 0, so that is ABC is rising. And the third we have is your MC is equals to ABC, and that is it tends to ABC equals to 0, so that means ABC is a minimum. So where in the same cases here that therefore the MC cuts ABC and AC from below at their respective minimum point, and further if the MC is constant but AC falls throughout, and MC and ABC will remain constant throughout and will be in the form of if coinciding the horizontal straight line that is parallel to the x-axis, and thus AC will fall continuously just like AFC but at the higher level here. Now we'll talk about in a detail, which is another question that explain the concept of cost output relationship in long term. So that we'll discuss here. Long run cost output relation. In this, that the long run is the period long enough to make all inputs variable, and in the long run a firm that can increase or decrease its output according to its demand, and by having more or less of all the factors of production, the firm are able to expand that the scale of their operations in the long run by purchasing larger quantities of all the input, and thus in the long run that all factor becomes variable. The long run cost output relation therefore that imply the relationship, and that is the relationship between the total cost and the total output, as the change in production in the long run as possible by changing the scale of production. The long run cost output relationship is influenced by a law of return of to scale as well. In the long run, and a firm has number of alternatives in the regard of the scale of operation. For each scale of production that or the plant size, that the firm has a separate short run average of cost curves as well, and hence the long run average cost curve is composed of a series of short run average cost curve. A short run average cost, that is your the SAC, that curve applies to only one part plant, where the long term average cost, which is LAC, that curves takes into the consideration many plants, and at any one time that the firm has only one size of plant, that plant remains fixed during that period, and any increase in the production in that period is possible only with that plant capacity, and that plant has a corresponding average cost, which is your SAC curve. And but in a long period that the firm can move from one plant size to the another, and each plant has its corresponding SAC there curve here. And the long run cost output relationship is shown graphically by the lag curve, and that to draw an lag curve we have to start with the number of SAC curves as well. In the same cases that has been represented, and where that we have assumed that there are only that only three sizes of plant, that small, medium and large, and the SAC that refers to the average cost curve for the small plant, like your SAC, and for the medium size plant, that is your SAC 3, for the large size plant as well. In the firm wants to produce the OP units or less, and it will choose the small plant for an output that beyond OQA of the firm will opt for the medium size plant. Even if an increased production is possible with small plant production, that beyond OQ that will increase the cost of the production per unit, and for an output OR that the firm will choose the large plant, and thus it is a long run, and the firm has a series of SAC curves as well, where in the same cases that the lag curve draws will be tangential to the three SAC curves, that is the lag curve touches each SAC curves at one point, and the lag curves is also known as envelope curve, as it envelopes all the SAC curves. No point on any of the lag curve that can ever be below the lag curve, and it is also known as planning curve, as it serves as a guide to the entrepreneur as well. Where in the same cases here that in this planning that the size of the plant for the future expansion, that the plant which yield the lowest average cost of the production, that will be selected as well. The lag that can be defined as the lowest possible average cost of that producing any output, when the management has adequate that one time to make all desirable changes and adjustment, and that is in a long run that the demand curve of the firm that depends on the law of return to scale, and that the law of return to the scale that states that if the firm increases that the quantity of all inputs simultaneously, and proportionality, that the total output initially increases more than the proportionality but eventually increases less than proportionality as well. It implies that when the production increases per unit, cost first decreases but ultimately increases, and this means the lag curves falls initially and rises subsequently, and like SAC curve, lag curve also is U-shaped, but it will be also the flatter than SAC curve as well. In the same references with references that the U-shaped implies the lower and the lower average cost in the beginning until the optimum scale of the firm is reached, and successfully the higher average cost thereafter. The increasing return is experienced on the account of the economies of the scale or the advantages of the large scale production. Increase in the scale makes that possible increased divisions and the specializations of the labor and a more efficient use of machines. Then after a certain point, increases in the production that makes management more difficult and less efficient, resulting in the less than a proportionate increase in output as well. And that the long run marginal that cost that represent the cost of an additional unit of the output when all the inputs vary here, where in the same case that the long run marginal cost curve that LMC is derived from the short run marginal cost, which is SMC curve. And LMC, that curve intersects LAC curve at a minimum point C, and there is only one plant size whose minimum sag coincides with the minimum lag and LMC as well. In the same references towards this that we have, which is your in the reference towards we have is your SAC 2 equals to SMC 2 equals to LAC, and that is equals to LMC as well. So here that the point C indicates also the optimum scale of productions of the firm in the long run, or optimum output, and that is the optimum output level is the level of production at which the cost of production per unit, that is AC, is the lowest, and that the optimum level is not the maximum profit level. And the optimum point is where that AC is equals to MC. Here C is then optimum point as well. So now we'll go ahead with the further one that what we have to discuss here, which is your break even analysis. And in a break even analysis, that how it is estimated, that what we have to discuss here in the detail. Here we'll end up with this session, and now we'll continue with the next. So here we'll continue with the next classes, and that we will be continuing here. And in this classes of managerial economics, we had started with the unit 1, which is your introduction to engineering economics and the demand analysis, where we had discussed about the meaning and the nature of the economics, relation between the science, engineering and technology, and the economics, and meaning of demand, determinants of demand, as well as we had discussed about shifts in demand, laws of demand, price elasticity of demand and types, income elasticity, cross price elasticity, determinants of elasticity, uses and importance of elasticity as well. In the next coming class, the unit 2 we had cover up, which is the concept of study, the supply, that is your law of supply, factor affecting the supply, elasticity of the supply, demand forecasting we had done, which is the introduction, meaning and forecasting, method or technique of the demand forecasting, criteria for the good demand forecasting for a new product as well. In unit 3rd, which we had started in this class, this is your cost analysis, where we had covered up the some of the things, that is your introduction, types of cost, cost output relationship, cost function, cost output relationship in a short run, cost output relationship in a long run here, that short run output and the long run that we had discussed. So in the next coming class, we'll have to start with the break-even analysis and production function, law of variable proportion, law of return, economics of the scale, internal and external, that we have to cover up in the next coming class. And other than that, we'll start with the unit 4, which is your market structure, where we have to cover up the market structure, prefer perfect competition, imperfect competition, monopolistic, oligopoly, duopoly, and solvent features of price domination and the various market condition as well. Then we'll have to complete the unit 5, which is your nature and characteristics of the Indian economy, concept of LPG, elementary concept of national income, inflations and business cycles, concepts of NI and measurement, meaning of inflation, types of causes, phases of business cycles, investment decision for the boosting economy, national income and per capital income as well. That is in unit 5 we have to discuss here. So first of all, it's a huge request from my side to all the viewers, please go through with the subscribe button and please like, share and subscribe our channel, so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. Other than the managerial economics, we are dealing with the computer graphics, database management system, as well as we'll start with the quantitative aptitude. We are dealing with reasoning, where we had covered up the verbal reasoning, and now we had started with non-verbal reasoning. That is the first topic we are dealing with, that is your series, and in that we have to cover up the more than 1000 questions. So we are on more than 700 questions we had done, so you can go through with that, and you will be finding out each and every video in the playlist here. So thank you, hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and give a suggestion in the comment box. Please support us as you have supported till date.